Hello everybody, this is Mike Fauché, and today I want to cover Tailscale, which is a layered network built on top of Wireguard that allows you to easily bridge internal and external networks. If you need to securely access your internal devices remotely, then you want to watch the rest of this video. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe and hit that notifications icon so you'll know when there's new content. So I've been using OpenVPN for years now, and it was my tool of choice to remotely access my PCs, my NAS units, and my security cameras. And for the most part, it's worked really well. If I had any complaint at all, it was a multi-login process, and it required some port forwarding in the router to get it to work. And of course, if your ISP changes your IP address, and if you have a dynamic IP address, you may have to periodically change your configuration file. As I'm always looking for new options to make things easier and certainly more secure, I've been following the recent progress of Wireguard, especially given that it'll be built into the new QNAP version 5, the QTS version 5. Unfortunately, out of the box, Wireguard is not really user-friendly. I didn't want to spend a lot of time putting that much effort into something given that OpenVPN was actually working for me. Since then, I came across Tailscale, which is actually built on top of Wireguard. And it really simplifies extending out your network and providing some point-to-point encryption. In addition, it adds some simple admin console and allows you to seamlessly connect to local and remote devices without the need to worry about dynamic IP addresses, special configurations, or any port forwarding at all. So let's get into the basics, walk through the configurations, and show you some of the things that I'm using it for and how quickly I can access my devices. So the first thing you probably want to do is to sign up for a Tailscale account. The software is free for personal use, and they do have some paid options. So if you have a larger application, small business, or definitely more advanced configurations, then you can get that for a reasonable price. Once you've created the account, it's now time to install and authenticate on each device that you want to access or access from. They have clients for Mac, Windows, Linux, iOS, and Android, as well as third-party containers for QNAP, Synology, and Unraid. So with that said, let's get into the installation. So to install it on any of your clients, just go to the download site and basically download the appropriate client for whatever you want to put this on. So they have an iOS client, a Mac OS client, Linux, Android. Of course, the iOS and Android are going to be downloaded from the appropriate stores. But for Windows, you just click on Download Windows and do a quick installation. It'll take you just a few seconds to install. So once you've logged in and authenticated your client, then when you log into the admin console through tailscale.com, you'll see a list of your machines. So in my case, I've installed 7 different clients so that I can interconnect all of them. And let's walk through a little bit of what the interface shows us, and then we'll get into some configurations. So here you have a list of all your machines. It tells you the machine name, it gives you the IP address, then it gives you the OS version, tells you whether or not it's connected. If you click on this triple dots over here, you have a few options. One of them is to share this machine to another network. So let's say you have a colleague that's out there that you're working with and you guys want to share a folder. You can actually share machines. You can be on his network or they can be on yours, and you can share a folder or whatever you need to do. But this allows you to bridge multiple networks together. You can edit the machine names. Then you can review your route settings, which we'll get into at a later time. And this one here gives you the option to enable or disable the expiration or the authentication expiration key. So if you, by default, this is off. So in about 6 months, it will force you to re-authenticate. I've chosen to basically disable the expiration so that IP will be constant all the time. And I've done that to most of my stationary machines. So my security system, my VM, and my work desktop, I don't want those to change at all. I want them to be logged in all the time, and I don't want to have to re-authenticate them. But that's optionally up to you. So to get a better idea of how this works, let's go through a few examples. So for starters, let's just do a remote desktop. To access remote desktop, what I need to do is actually log into the admin console. And once I'm in the admin console, I find the device I want to actually remote desktop into. So I'm going to go to my work PC, and I just click on copy the IP address. Then I can launch the remote desktop app, copy the IP address directly into there, and basically log straight in. Once I'm in, I do everything I normally do. It's very simple to actually log into any other PC. As long as Tailscale is running on all these devices, you can quickly gain access to it. One of the other big uses for me is to actually access devices or software from my mobile devices. So in this case, since I'm running Blue Iris and it's running in the background of that particular PC, I can just quickly log into the software. The software will automatically connect to the Blue Iris PC, and I'm able to run it just as if I was actually connected on the local network. One other use that I periodically have to do is to actually run a remote desktop app through my iPad, which is always a little bit trickier since the screen is much smaller, but in a pinch, it gets you where you want to go. The point is you can actually do it. A couple other things that you might be able to use it for. For one, if you're actually logged into a particular machine and you want to send some files over to another machine, you can just go to your File Explorer, right-click, and actually hit Send with Tailscale. When you do that, you get a list of your files, which in my case is only one, and then a list of logged in machines. So I could click any of these other machines. I'll just pick this one, for example, and it will transfer the file over. Now, depending on your connection speed will determine how long the files take, like anything else. But, it does give you the option to move things around. This is probably especially useful if you're sharing a network or if somebody's on your network that doesn't really have full access to everything that's on it. And then lastly is you can actually share a folder. So if you do create a share on one of your systems, so for example, if I wanted to share this download folder, I can go ahead and create a standard share on this machine. That machine will be available to other systems that are logged into Tailscale. Not a great use case for me, but it's an option. So why do we want to use Tailscale over something like OpenVPN? What's kind of the key differences? OpenVPN is actually a point-to-point encryption and has optional tunneling. Everything kind of funnels into one node. So if you look at the chart, you can kind of see how the basic data flow is actually going in from a client into your OpenVPN server and into your other clients. The performance on OpenVPN can be a little bit slow, primarily because it is a serial event. There are different encryption methods. You're tunneling everything into a single point entry. With Tailscale, it's a different approach. There's no tunneling. Everything's on a mesh network, so things can interconnect to the fastest point based on performance and based on the device you want to actually access. So you don't have to actually go into any type of server to access that device or from that device. By default, Tailscale is set up as an extension network. So basically it runs in the background and it extends your current local network to additional networks, which makes everything you have access to right there at your fingertips. So you don't really have to actually log into anything. Since Tailscale is really designed to be running in the background, it's just there for you all the time. Traffic is not funneled through, by default, is not funneled through any kind of single point. So Tailscale just sits there unless it's asked to be used for something. It's a little bit more secure since access is restricted to a single device. So because you're doing a point-to-point, you're not going through any kind of server, you're not opening up your network at all. Depending on your configuration, it can be a little bit more secure. The other thing is you don't actually see other devices on your network unless you've set up a subnet router, which we'll get into on another video. So you only see the device that actually has the client running. And you typically get faster performance. As a result of their use of encryption and the design of the architecture, traffic is point-to-point and not funneled through a single point, so performance is typically faster. The fact that you can stay logged in all the time makes it a lot more convenient as well. It's just there for you. Your network is automatically extended wherever you go or wherever you are. And it's a whole lot easier to access other or multiple networks. So as this product is relatively new and it's still kind of a work in process, new features and enhancements are being added all the time. Personally, I'd like to see an easier way to allow for local network access without the need for a Linux server to act as a subnet router. I know one of the planned features is to basically support that feature using a Windows or a Mac machine, which is far more helpful because then at least we would be able to use a current machine that's logged into your network. Also, I'd like to see a simpler way of using names instead of IP addresses when accessing things like RDP. I plan on making some future videos on setting up local access devices by using a subnet router, as well as installing Tailscale directly onto your NAS. Anyway, that's about it for today's video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and hit that notifications icon so you'll be notified of any future content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.